Alright, so I'm having a moment, and I'm not saying this because it's, y'all have seen me go through everything, and what I'm going through now is everybody was on me over the summer because I was drinking to get through my pain, and it was pain. And then what I come to realize is that it didn't matter what everybody said about me. I'm an alcoholic or I'm a drinker or this and that, because the people that knew what I was going through really knew what I was going through. And I said it, I'm drinking because I'm in so much pain, I don't know what else to do. And so, then, you know, everybody was on board with the crazy, and people got it and people understood it, but my kids it was a big deal for my kids because, and the whole reason I'm even doing all of this is because of letting people know that no matter what you go through in life, you get through it, whether you feel like this or you feel like something else. But whatever you choose in life, that's what you're gonna get. And we haven't done a show on addicts, and that's what I think my next show is gonna be on, because a person can be an addict of anything. And I know that since I haven't been drinking, everything that I drank to cover up comes out. And I wasn't that bad, but over the summer I got really bad because I couldn't control it. It was so much I couldn't handle. It was beyond me. And then I picked up cigars, which I try not to beat myself up about, but that has to go too. But essentially, and I think it's not on this page, but I'm going to put it on there, but every addict there's some kind of vice to cover up pain. And one of the things because when I started doing this, I didn't start doing live shows for any other reason other than when I was writing my book with my recorders, it wouldn't work. So when I went live, I could save the audio so that the transcriber could put it in the book. And then it just took off. I didn't plan to do live shows. I never said anything about doing live shows. It was just a way to record, but I was so desperate to have everything recorded that that I did it live, and then the feedback was just overwhelming. And then one thing led to another, and I started to realize that I needed to advertise anyway for my book. So what I always talk about is finding the silver lining in anything, and so that was one aspect of getting everything together with trying to get the word out about who I am and what my message is, and about getting my book out there in the movie. So that's how the live shows took off. But I've done everything out here on live, and I've gotten my gig taxed by people that didn't know what the hell they were talking about really, and put me through a lot more stuff that I didn't do. At the time they were accusing me of this, I was just really down, and I was drinking. That was my deal. But no matter what, finding the silver lining is what it's all about. And so no matter what you're going through, you always have to be grateful, and you always have to take one day at a time and feel your feelings, you know. So addicts, for whatever reason, are broken for whatever reason. And I find myself, even not drinking, I'll over Facebook, or I'll text people all the time, or I'll just get caught up in something else that just rolls and rolls and rolls, and it keeps me from thinking or feeling what I really need to think and feel. So I'm doing this one right now because this is what my message is. My message in my movie, it's about, you know, when the shame hit and the good split and the bad side, and they fought to come together at the end. Everybody on this planet has something that they're fighting. And I was listening to Barack Obama a few minutes ago, which I was trapped into listening to because I was at the Chinese buffet, of course without beer, and they were talking about, they opened up this new thing for addicts and opioid users and cancer. So they have some kind of thing they're starting right now to help people who are addicted to opioid, and that's the word they use, opiates, and cancer people. And they had it in the same sentence. Cancer, help, and opioids, help. And I'm thinking, I never had that problem with heroin or anything like that, but I know people who do and who have, and my family, thank God, hasn't been touched by cancer, but I know 1,000 people who have. And I sit here and I'm like, I'm so grateful, you know, for what has been revealed to me, and I'm so grateful that what I have to put out there, even though I've been just beat over the head by everybody judging me, but what I bring to the table is something that no matter what you're going through, and I talk about Viktor Frankl all the time because he was in the concentration camps, and he said no matter what's going on and what they do to my body, they can't touch my soul. And so, you know, when I've recently found myself wishing a terminal illness on myself so that I could just lose everything, I realized what an idiot I would have to be to wish something like that on myself, and I had to start changing my thinking. And so it brought me to a place where I'm focused on what is real and what doesn't get covered up by using anything. So I think that we wanted to touch on addiction, and I think that's going to be the next show, is on addiction, because people can be addicted to anything that doesn't allow them to feel. And whenever you go through so much in your life, be it a sickness or be it something you choose, you become numb or disattached, and then you start wondering where God is, you know, and is God real? And you get turned off with religion and whatever, you know, and then it just comes to the point where you have to really slow down and ask yourself, which is the name of the movie, by the way, you got to ask yourself, what am I putting in the place of me and God? What am I putting in the place of whatever makes me not be trapped within myself and forced to feel something I don't want to feel? Well, number one, you have to feel your feelings. They're just feelings. You won't blow up. That was a lesson I learned a long time ago. And so allowing yourself to feel, even when it hurts like a mother, because it does, you start digging out, where did this come from and why is it like that? And sometimes intellectualizing is, you can't even intellectualize it. Sometimes you just have to be. And being in your own skin, which we talk about with haters, they can't be within their own skin. They're out there trying to hate on people. But honest, humble people that don't judge other people, and they're just struggling, whether it's addiction, they have illnesses, they have family problems, they have been in an accident and they're trapped in their body because their body is now paralyzed or something. I mean, I've seen it all. People who are touched by suicide, which is just supposed to be getting better in our world right now, in our community, and it's getting worse. Over the last month, I've heard of more suicides in our parish than I've heard of in my life, in 1 month. So, so where's the problem? What's the problem? And it's pain. I mean, it's inner pain. People are in a lot of pain right now in this world that we live in. And what's the message to help people with that? People are struggling to keep their heads up, and they have the support system of people. Some people are very fortunate. I am one of them. I'm very fortunate to have a great support system. But the ones who don't are the ones who end up in so much pain that they're on the streets, under a bridge somewhere, homeless, or they commit suicide, or they internalize and then they end up with a terminal illness such as cancer or whatever. No matter what, the whole spectrum of things is about, in the beginning, if you're a Bible believer, the first lie ever told in the Bible was by Satan, obviously. And he told Eve, is it true that if you eat from this, that God said you will die? And Eve said, yes, God said that if we eat from this forbidden tree that he commanded us not to eat from, you will positively die. And Satan said, you positively will not die. For God knows that in the day you eat from this tree, you will be like him, knowing good and bad. And then you can rule yourself and not need God. So I'm not trying to be a religious fanatic about this, because it's not about a certain religion. It's about a human being is not designed to live within their own skin without anything outside of themselves. We're just not designed that way. Like the owner, the creator of my car, okay? This car give me some hell. But if I don't follow that manual, whether I go to a shade tree mechanic, a little small mechanic, or the dealership, if the manual is not followed for this particular car, they're going to get up. Okay, and it's the same thing with God and humans. Unless you believe we came from the Big Bang and we evolved from a rock or a monkey or whatever. I mean, who cares? That's not my point. My point is, we need something greater than ourselves, or else we get trapped within ourselves. And being trapped within ourselves is the root of addiction. It's the root of dead cells in our body that turn into something more. It's the root of making bad decisions because you don't know which way to go. It's the root of running people out of your life because you make so many bad decisions that nobody wants to be there because they're afraid. They love you, but they're afraid to be around you because you just poison everything. I mean, there's so many behaviors that manifest from people that are red flags and indications, and that's another story. But I think the next show we're going to do is going to be on addiction, and I need to dig a little bit deeper. But I know when I came on here, I was pretty much at a gutter level in my soul, which is where I need to be, and I'm digging out of it. But for the people that know what happened to me and what I went through in my life, thank you for being there. And for the people that don't, when you read the book, you will know, and you really are not going to believe it. It's quite unbelievable. But thank you for listening. Please share, and YouTube, not everything yet, but YouTube has everything. And Snapchat is always fun. I love Snapchat. And please pray for me. Please continue to pray for me. And whenever I first started going through this, I posted to please pray for me until I ask you or tell you it's done. Well, it's not done. And that's been over a year because my memories keep telling me about that time. So if everybody will just keep praying for me, I would really appreciate that. And please pray for the most recent families that are victims of suicide in our community, because I don't know what in the world, but whenever the sheriff became the sheriff, that's one of the targets of what he's trying to help establish is less suicides in our community, and they're becoming more prevalent. So I don't know what's going on or what he has in line to help prevent that. But they got a what? But whatever's going on, I don't understand that. With whatever the sheriff has in line to help people stop committing suicide or prevent suicide, we all need to jump on that, because suicide has a ripple effect that affects children for generations. One of